Hello everyone and welcome to Murder Drones Week on my channel. Basically, we're just going to post Murder Drones video every day this week until episode 8 comes out. Then I will review that episode and that's the end of that. But anyways, let's get into this. So I'm going to be rating a bunch of ships from the Murder Drones shipping wiki. Yes, there is actually a wiki for shipping. And I'm just going to be rating them out of 10. So let's get into it. Alright, first of all is Newsy 10 out of 10. Next. What, do you expect me to elaborate? No, I have a video on the topic and I'll link it up in the top right corner there. I don't need to elaborate on this. Anyways, next up in this video will be Envy. And honestly, despite what I say about this ship, I don't actually hate it that much, oddly enough. They do indeed have their moments. Let's see. There's the entirety of there's an episode 2 where, V is obviously chained to that chair like she was the entire episode, but then she realizes, oh, the chain's broken, I can just leave. But, no. She stays there with N. And, obviously there's the factoid that N does have a crush on her. And then there's N trying to, reason with and, help V understand the situation in episode 3. But, honestly, there's not much for the ship after that I can recall. But, yeah, it was a pretty decent ship. Rest in peace, V. You won't be forgotten. But I swear to God, if you come back to episode 8, I'm gonna... Oh, would you look at that? I forgot to give it a rating. 7 out of 10. Yeah, next ship. Anyways, next on our little trek through the trenches is That X Lizzie. Alright, well, first of all, I hate Lizzie, but I'll try to let that hate kind of just put it to the side for the sake of the ship. So, it does seem like it's kind of canon, but I don't think their personalities really mesh very well. Thad is very, laid back and, he's very chill and nice with other people. Whereas Lizzie's kind of like the mean girl stereotype. You know, I feel like no matter what the movies say, chill dude and mean girl, just don't really mesh very well in a lot of situations. I say with a piece of Newsy fan art in the background, but hey, I'm not saying that it doesn't work ever, but okay. But, I would say that it does have a chance to work, given how Newsy turned out. But, anyways, I'll give it about a 6 out of 10 until we see something possibly pop up in episode 8. Next up is Bad XV 0 out of 10. Why does this exist? I don't know. Anyways, next we got a bit of polyamorous action. Cool. But, anyways, the ship that I'm referring to is Newsiv, which is basically N X Uzi X V. So, it's a combination of Newsy and Envy. So, let's see. So, I already said that Newsy and Envy work, but what about Uziv? Honestly, that ship really doesn't work. It really drags down, the net worth of this ship. But, yeah. Any other ships in play here? No. Well, I'd say about a 5 out of 10. Uziv drags it down because I feel like that ship doesn't really work. But, anyways, now we move on to... Alright, so next up we have 2 Lizzie-centered ships. So, first of all, Vizzy, which is VX Lizzie. So, honestly, I get where they're coming from, but no. They work great as, friends. Yeah, sure, but honestly, they don't really click together like that, honestly. So, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Only 3 because they work amazingly as a couple of friends, as seen in episodes 3 and 4. And then, as for Dizzy, aka Lizzie X Doll, so, yeah. This is another ship where, yeah, they're great as friends, sure, but also, not quite, because, the second that Lizzie tries to, make sure V doesn't die, she gets tossed away like trash. So, honestly, that definitely sours both the friendship and the shipping power. So, I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 10. Next, we've got Gen V, which, it chips every single murder drone together, which, well, Envy does work, like I said, both in the Envy section and in the, Newsiv section. Sorry, I forgot the name for a minute. But, any ship involving J, like, basically all of them don't really work. Like, for example, like, JX, that obviously doesn't work. JXN, N is constantly, like, physically abused by her, and, Oil Rose, I used to think it works, but, they've barely interacted, but, anyways, that's about it for this. So, much like with the previous one, I'll give it about a 3 out of 10. J being involved really drags it down because neither Oil Rose nor NJ or whatever it's called really work. So, next up we've got Thuzy. Alright, we're back on track. So, this one was quite established back in episode 1, mainly with like the second or third scene. I think it's the third. I don't know, where they're both like outside, and yeah, basically like that compliments Uzi's bandages for some reason, and yeah, Uzi starts blushing and is very flustered by it. But yeah, that's about it for that. And then in episode 2, Thad actually does something pretty brave and ventures out of the colony, which prior to this had only ever been done by Uzi, to give her back her railgun and tell her about what was going on back there. And once again, Uzi is blushing. So, very nice. Honestly, like, it's not the best ship, but, it's alright. You know, I'll give it about a 6 out of 10, maybe 7. Anyways, that ship's pretty good. Next up is News of J. This one is, like I said before, Newsiv doesn't really work very well. But, now we're throwing J into the mix, so it's even worse. So we're gonna have to take Newsiv's rating of 5 out of 10 and, bump it down to 3 out of 10 because of J. But, anyways, now we've got, just 2 more ships, alright? So, next up is Con Extor, 10 out of 10, best ship in the show. Next! Finally, we have Ripping Royals, which is the name for JX Tessa. So, this is primarily explored in Home, and, this may seem weird because, you know, it's a human and a robot, but, even though I personally don't ship it, it does actually have a little bit of merit to it, like, if you actually look at it. So, let's do that. So, we're gonna start right where they are first shown in episode 5. So, Tessa is very nervous about all the humans arriving at the gala, because, you know, she only ever talks to robots, and, she's currently having, you know, a bit of a panic attack about the whole thing while Jay watches on. Like, she doesn't show much concern, but she is probably concerned, and, yeah. And, Tessa asks Jay to, quote, pretend to be a Ripping Royal stud, or something along those lines, probably where the ship name came from. And when they clink their little wine glasses, Tessa noticeably winces and rubs her wrist. Probably, you know, her wrist is hurting. And Jay actually looks quite concerned, but Tessa reassures Jay that she's fine. And, honestly, I don't hate the ship. Like, I don't ship it, but if you do, I can kind of see where you're coming from, honestly. It seems weird, but hey, this kind of stuff happens all the time. But, anyways, I give this one about a 6 out of 10. I don't ship it because I don't really ship, like, humans with the robots. But if you do, I get where you're coming from on that. So, yeah, that's all the ships for this video, and the first video in Murder Drones Week. So, let's see what we do tomorrow. See you tomorrow, fellas. Bye.